A little bit warmer tomorrow, sun and clouds and a high of 75, and more of the same later on in the week. Sign up now for Safety Town Education Summer Camp for kids. 3 camp sessions are available at Charles Helmers Elementary School in Valencia. For more information, go to hometownstation.com.
It's Tuesday, 20 years doing the show. Business Life, dedicating it today to you, Lucas and Heather Solomon. Thank you for being in my life. And you, too. I'm dedicating the show to you, Kathleen Bruno, for being in my life, too. I love you in my life. I love you.
I love you in my life.
I'm glad my wife doesn't listen because she thinks something's going on. But nothing's going on except our 2 great guests today. And, you know, I've done 15,000 interviews over the 20 years. Probably more, but at least, you know, I was on 10 years, 3 hours a day.
Well, that's why you're so amazing at it.
You think so?
I do.
You're sweet.
You're fantastic.
That's Kathleen Bruno. She's the #1 real estate lady in Southern California. I'm not kidding either, ladies and gentlemen. So I've never talked about solar, except I love solar. I don't know why. I love solar.
Well, it's a great thing to talk about because in my industry, it's huge. And there's a lot of misconceptions, so it's really important
This is gonna, we're going to make solar fun. Somehow we're going to make it fun. So
solar is fun because you see your bill, and that's fun.
Yeah.
Or lack thereof.
My first, when we moved to Santa Clarita, I'm not exaggerating, my electrical bill was $950, sometimes more. I like a cool house. I like everything cool. Like my bat's made out of wood. Anyway, so we put solar in about 8 years ago, and our bill's down to like $150. It's unbelievable what solar's done for us.
It's amazing. I put solar in probably 5 years ago, and it was a fantastic
I just keep
decision.
the lights on just to see if I can make the make the meter go.
Yeah, I don't do that, but I love the fact that it really, really ended up paying for itself, and it's just great.
So we have a nice young man here. Dylan, welcome to KHTS. You listen to the station, which is also a big bonus.
That's right.
98.1 FM now, 1220 AM. You can listen on hometownstation.com. And Rick Patterson, we're going to dedicate another portion of the show. A lot of dedications today. Hopefully your daddy's listening, huh?
I'm sure he is, yeah. He's a loyal listener.
I don't know whatever you and your mom did right, man. What are you, about 6'5"?
You know, it was casserole, lots of casserole. You know,
really?
Eight kids running around, you know, a lot of casserole.
I grew up with that casserole, too, yeah.
Maybe
that's the secret.
Casserole and love.
So name of your company.
Vivant Solar.
Vivint.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Now, how do we come up with a name like that, Vivint?
You know, probably a room of marketing guys, right, and gals.
Yeah, committee.
It comes down to, like, live intelligently. You know, you got some Latin in there, I'm sure. And but Vivint, live intelligently.
Vivint, I got it
We're
now.
specifically Vivant Solar. We grew and branched off, went public a couple years ago.
Yeah, you're huge. I mean, you're not a fly-by-night, Johnny-come-lately solar company. You're the real deal. That's why I wouldn't put you on the air if you weren't the real deal.
Well, I appreciate it. I'm my first time on radio, and I'm excited. You know, I heard it. I have a face for radio, so I was really excited.
No, you're a handsome young man. Are you married?
I am. Yeah, my wife Jen, she's beautiful, and we got 3 little kids, and life's great.
Yeah, congratulations, Jen. Nice job. Nice job. What are your kids' names?
So my 4-year-old son is Mac.
Okay, that.
Yeah, and then we have twin little girls. They're our adopted daughters.
Okay.
And so they're not biological twins, but they're just a couple days apart. A little miracle that they came to us. And we love them more than you can imagine. So that's Sienna and Reese.
Oh, awesome. Very cool. Yeah. Congratulations, really.
We're very
Any
fortunate.
dogs or cats?
No, my wife has her hands full. They're all under 4 years old, you know, so she's
just
busy.
getting dressed in the morning would be an
That's
accomplishment.
Right.
So, Kathleen Bruno, you run Southern California. I mean, you are unbelievable. I don't want to brag about you, but I don't know. We're going to do a whole show on you. I got to find out how this young lady like you have become so successful. But you deal with solar all the time, don't you?
I do. It's a big portion of my business, and what I run across a lot is that the consumer isn't always educated, and that's really important. That's why it's so great to have Dylan here today, because he can tell us the 3 different ways that you can have solar in your home, and it really makes a difference when you go to sell your home, because some of those ways are assets and some of those ways are detriments. So you just have to really look at it what is the best program. And his company is fantastic. When we go to list a house that has Vivint on the home, we're elated because it just makes our job so much easier.
Wow, what a nice plug.
Yeah, that's great. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Happy to hear it.
So let's clear up some stuff. So I'm embarrassed to say I don't know whether I lease or rent my solar. It was so Vivint did such a great job. You guys showed up. You did what you said you were going to do. There was a broken tile. You fixed that. It was unbelievable. So tell us the differences. If somebody's listening to the show and they don't have solar, I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, you will save hundreds of dollars a month. How do we go about doing it? Do they lease it? Do they rent it? Give us the whole math on this thing.
Sure. So there's 3 ways that most people are familiar with to get solar. You can either buy the solar panels. That's pretty straightforward. For a while there, a lot of people were doing those solar leases, and those are what you talked about. Maybe sometimes you have a little bit of a challenge with it. There's a lien on the home.
Yes.
Difficult to sell, difficult to refinance.
Yes, and to put a fine tip point on it, the buyer has to qualify to assume the lease.
A lot of time.
And most people shop at the top of their budget. So if there is a lease in place, that counts in their debt-to-income ratio. So if someone's at the top of their purchasing power, then there's a solar lease on top of it, it can bump them out of not qualifying.
Yeah.
That's why it's really, really important to disclose that.
So where we've had a lot of successes, so we don't do that, right? So with us, you either buy the panels, and typically people finance that, and it makes a lot of sense because it's cheaper than what they're paying Edison, and eventually they own it and have no bills. It's a win-win. But a lot of people just want a very simple process where they say, hey, Vivint, can you just lower my bill? I just want to pay less for power. That's it. I don't want to take out a loan. I don't want to deal with this. Just show up and handle it. And that's where we really shine. The majority of our customers do that. It's called a power purchase agreement. Literally walked backwards. They're just agreeing to purchase power. So we come out, and just like you didn't buy the Edison pole or the Edison lines, in your backyard, you're not buying the panels, you're not buying the inverter. That's our job. We provide all the equipment. We just need to make power to sell it. And we just sell it cheaper than the utility for most homes, which is great.
Which makes it so easy when we go to sell the home, because they just step into it. There's not a bunch of negotiations or things that have to be paid off or things that have to be qualified for. That's why we walk in, we do a listing appointment. They say we have solar, it's through Vivint. We're like, great, let's just keep moving.
Yeah, so on a Vivint power purchase agreement, we guarantee the transfer regardless of credit rating. And that's huge. So there's no lien on the home, and the person moving in doesn't have to qualify credit-wise. They just move in and pay less for power.
We need a little logo for you guys, like a little. I belong to Valencia Country Club. We call it the Big V. We should call you guys the Little V.
Well,
we need a logo.
We can brainstorm that.
I don't think they want a logo that says little in front of it.
Oh,
how about the Bright V? We'll be the
There
Bright
we
V,
go.
the shiny V.
Yeah, good point. Yeah,
Especially when he shows up at the door, they're going to be like, what?
Yeah, no kidding. Our wonderful guest today, Vivint Solar. Yeah. Do you actually? I mean, you're the big boss. Do you actually go to the homes?
Well, I wish I could say I'm the big. I mean, I'm the boss out in Santa Clarita area, and I have some great partners, Adam Cox, and we have great reps that we work with. So, but Vivint is much larger than me. We're nationwide from Hawaii to New York. We have over 100,000 homes already saving money on their power, and so we're a big dog in the race.
Are you a public company?
Yeah, we are. So we went public back in 2013. It was really a neat experience for me to be a part of that, as a fly on the wall and learning that process.
Well, now you win the lotto. That's another thing. Let's talk about that for a second. So every new home, like you know about this.
Yes.
We're going to have like 40,000 new homes in the next 10 years.
22,000 just south of the 5, or just west of the 5, rather.
Right.
Before you know it.
I see them carving that hill.
Oh, you can see the grading
Yeah,
in
I see
canyon
it.
country everywhere. Yeah, we're going crazy.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about it. It's an emotional
we're not
time.
a secret anymore. We used to be kind of a good secret,
Yeah.
and it's not the case anymore. When we do an open house now,
we should charge people to live here, don't you think? We should.
I'm pretty sure we are. I think that's what's happening.
We should put up gates on the 405, right? Well, think about it. Where's your marketing, girl? Come on, you're with Troop 21
Hold
Troop.
on, give me a minute.
You're number one in the
Century
Southern.
21.
It's Troop 21, Century 21 Troop.
Yeah.
Pretty soon, Troop's going away. It's going to be Century 21. Mark my words.
I think that's probably the case.
Okay, back to solar. That's our very special guest. For the first segment, stay tuned, 98.1 FM, 1220 AM. We have I guarantee you, probably in 4 years, I'm having them on early. You want to meet these power guys early.
You want to ingrain yourself to the powerful
No
people. that are
kidding. I may
coming.
need them, right?
Yes.
I may have to drop a dime. And
I know.
I know. So very special guest coming up here in a few minutes. Let's finish, though, with this, and we got to have Dylan back. The process, you come to the house. How does this whole thing work?
Sure. So we'll come to the house. It's a very laid-back approach, especially with our PPA. Either it makes sense for both of us or it doesn't make sense for either of us. Fortunately, in Santa Clarita, Palmdale, Lancaster, we've been blessed with some of the best sun in the nation. So it's very rare to find a home that isn't a candidate.
Is roof direction an indicator of whether they're a candidate or not, or is it trees that block sun?
Sure. So roof direction plays a part, but the reality is where we live, we can install on pretty much any direction.
Fantastic.
North facing is going to obviously produce less, but we can do south, west, east, and what's nice with our program is that doesn't change the price to the homeowner. Whether we have to put up some extra panels to compensate for that, they pay the same rate for their power, so they just get cheap power. The production of that power is our job, and we handle all of that. A lot of people think with solar, well, I don't have the money for solar. Well, you don't have the money, not to do solar at this point because the rates just continue to increase with your utility, and doing nothing is a very expensive choice right now.
And that's why your program is amazing, because it used to be either you agree to this lease or you have enough money to purchase your own, or so on and so forth. This is right in the middle. This is a great lane to be.
I mean, how could I guess I'm pitching. So I am pitching solar because why would you not have solar, Kathleen Bruno?
Because you don't understand it.
Oh,
that's
gotcha.
why you wouldn't
That's
have
why
it.
Well, and
Dylan's here.
And to give people the benefit of the doubt, a couple of years ago, we kind of had, if you remember, just a big influx of solar dealers, companies, marketing, flyers on the door, calls, and people,
I want to start a solar company.
Yeah, well, people
but
got
a lot of them went bankrupt.
Yeah, and they weren't run well, or they were just
Yes.
dealers that were just selling you off to another company. And Vivint doesn't do that. We're vertically integrated, so I work for Vivint. The guy that installs it works for Vivint. The electrician works for Vivint. The designer works for Vivint. So anytime you have an issue or a question, you come right back to the source. And so that's been one of the keys to our success. But people got a lot of bad information a couple years ago. And so I'll go to homes all the time where they're like, oh, I don't qualify for solar. Oh, we looked into it, but it doesn't benefit us. And I'll rerun through it with them, and it actually benefits them greatly. They just got bad information, or we're working with a company that maybe didn't know what was going on.
I want to start a solar company and put Kathleen in charge of my sales and marketing.
Why don't we just both go to work for Vivint?
That's
There
an
you go.
idea.
Hey, there you go.
Do you guys do commercial?
Not my division, not what we do. We're dabbling in it. It's a very different animal. Our specialty and where we really dominate is residential.
Got you.
Yeah.
Got you. Vivint. Vivint.
Yes, sir. Vivant Solar.
And they can find you how? How would, people don't remember names. That's why we need a little logo. Do you guys have a logo? Do you have like a slogan, something? Give me something.
Yeah. So, most simple would probably be vivantsolar.com is our website, right?
VivintSolar.com. Give me more. I need more.
something
Like a
catchy.
jingle. You
Come
don't have
on,
a
Dylan.
jingle?
You want me to sing
need
something,
a-
right?
yeah.
Yeah. Let's get some bongos
There's no
in here.
jingle?
Yeah, I'll
got
work
bongos.
on that.
I got the bongos. Next time you come on, I'll bring the bongos.
There we go.
But
Yeah.
we need a jingle, Kathleen.
Another way, I'm local, and so people, this may backfire, but I can give out like a number they can call.
Nobody's going to write them.
Yeah.
How about we'll go with Vibe with Vivint?
That was good. Vibe.
Vibe with
Vibe
Vivint.
with
Yeah.
Vivint.
There
How
you
about
go.
lower your electric bill significantly with Vivint?
They're both good.
Yeah. But Vibe is good.
Simply smarter.
Vibe.
Vivint Solar.
The
right?
big Vibe with Vivint. Okay. So that you show up at the house.
Yes.
And you sit in the kitchen table.
Yeah, and that's kind of what sets us apart is someone's going to show up that can really help you and walk you through the process. It's quick. Some people think that it's going to be this big, process. They'll show up, and within 15, 20 minutes, they'll kind of bring you up to speed on how we work. We'll get a design for you, come back in a couple of days, show it to you. Everyone's going to feel really good about it, and it's going to make sense, or it's not. And it's worth looking at for sure.
And you got to go through the homeowners, right, Kathleen?
Yes, a lot of times you do, and that's usually not a big deal. I've done it twice through a
Yeah,
homeowners
the
association.
homeowners associations in California
Yeah.
can't restrict solar.
Yeah.
They can't say that you can't have
good,
solar.
okay.
That's been decided.
But I think what Kathleen said about it being an asset really needs to be discussed don't you think?
It's huge because I'll tell you now when you go to new construction, a lot of them come with solar. So if you were a competitive resale, somebody that wants to sell the home they're in, it's great if you have paid for solar or Vivint Solar because they're both considered a bonus to the home. And as we move forward, that's going to be an expectation now as we continue to move forward. That's solar, as well as upgrades.
Well, you hit on something really remarkable in that moving forward, homes in California that don't have solar, if I'm going to buy a home, why would I buy a home that has a $400, $500, $600, $700 electric bill when I can get a brand new home with solar already on it, or I can get a Vivint home where I simply step in and pay less for my power? So you're starting to see a shift into what makes sense.
And here's another scenario. You and the next door neighbor are both for sale. You both have the exact same model match, same bedroom, same everything. One of you has lease solar, one of you has Vivint Solar. Immediately it's clear which is the better deal.
Yeah, at least for me, right?
Yeah, well, for me too.
Andrew, can we get some jingle music for Vivint Solar? I'm working on this.
You should ask the millennials what the slogan
You ever
should
watch
be
Two
for
and a Half
Vivint.
Men? Charlie's a jingle writer.
Yeah.
That's what I want to do. I want to be a jingle writer.
Well, it's
for
never too late.
Vivint Solar.
Just for one
Solar.
company, though?
Solar.
You got to branch out more than
Solar. Vivint. I need some jingle music here, Andrew.
Oh, wait,
He's working
coming.
on it.
It's got to sound like
Okay,
the sun.
so when you go home tonight, have you forgotten something? Is there something left off on your notes that you want to?
No. What I always like to cover when I have a chance is people have similar questions we get regularly, right? And the one you are the expert on as realtors: what happens when I want to go to sell my house or when I want to move? And usually when people ask that question, it's because they're thinking they're going to have to spend $30,000, $40,000, write a check, and buy the solar, and then they're wondering, how am I going to get that back if I sell my house? And so with our power purchase agreement, you don't have that issue or concern. And so that's a really common question we get. But what we do find is every once in a while, if you do have our agreement, and let's say the guy doesn't want, the couple doesn't want Vivint when they move in, we understand that. We hope they do. But if they don't, they're welcome when they buy the home from you. They can just buy the panels with the home, and we all walk away. And it's fair. We depreciate it over time. So if they do want to do that, they can buy the panels for a fair price and move in and do their own thing. So it's really a pretty good situation for people. And realtors have really come around and realized this is the future. And obviously, she knows what she's talking about because she's figured this out,
Kathleen Bruno, you mean?
When you go to a home and you say it's a 15, 20-minute meeting, will they know when
Never 15 or 20 minutes. It's always an hour, hour and a half. You want a cookie.
Well, I was thinking it's great he says 15 because that probably really means 40. Will they know when you walk out the door what they're going to pay, what their rate is going to be?
They'll have a range until we have because what will happen, every home is different, right? Does it face that south way? Does it face west? What is it that...
What's the best way
what
for
are
it
we
to face?
South is usually ideal, yeah. So it gets sun morning to evening, yeah.
Here's a layperson's question that I think is really important. Who's going to service the panels if something goes wrong?
And that's what's great about Vivint. So you have a service agreement with us for 20 years.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. So again, because how do we make our money? By selling power that the system produces. So if that system doesn't produce power, we're highly motivated to get it producing power again because we only make money when it's working versus in other programs, right?
So do you come out periodically and clean the panels, or do you instruct the homeowner as to how to clean them?
Well, one step better. So we monitor the system 24/7 wirelessly.
Awesome.
So any dip, in production or any fault or error, we're able to see that on our end, and then we handle it appropriately.
This
Yeah,
May
that's
Gray
fantastic.
has been a heck of a dip in production, right?
Well, we calculate for that. Yeah, so we know over the last...
Everybody's sad at Vivint?
No, fortunately, it's all built in. So we know the weather patterns for Santa Clarita are different than Ventura, are different than Thousand Oaks.
I'm playing golf next Wednesday. What's my weather pattern? I need to know.
Oh, now that
I should call you for weather.
Hold
Yeah,
on.
yeah.
Your weather pattern is you're going to shoot in the 70s.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
do that. Yeah.
When I play golf, the weather pattern is I'm going to get wet, right into the water hazard, right?
Yeah. Vivant Solar, he'll be back. He's a nice young man, went to Hart High School. You did graduate, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I did, fortunately, yeah.
Yeah. Barely like me. You barely got out of there. And did you do any college anywhere?
I did, yeah. So I went up to Brigham Young University.
BYU, baby. The
yeah.
Cougars, the
Oh, yeah.
Cougs.
Met my wife up there in Utah, and then we spent some time in Nevada. And when we wanted to have a kid, we said, Santa Clarita. That's where you raise your family. And
It
so we are
is.
so happy to be back here.
Well, we're happy to have you. Come back anytime. You're welcome at any time. I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't have solar, you got to ask yourself why. Call me. I will come out and counsel with you. I will give you some counseling I charge for it.
That's right.
And you'll wind up getting solar. I mean, it's ridiculous. Don't you think, Kathleen? Seriously,
I think
why
the
would
only
you not
reason-
have solar?
That's what I'm saying. Because you don't understand how easy it is to get it and how beneficial it is and how there's programs in place now that can really benefit
You're
you.
probably going to save a car payment. Seriously.
Oh, at least. It's
I
minimum.
mean, a car
Yeah.
payment.
Mine used to be $660 a month in the summer, somewhere around in there. I have a pool, 2 stories, 2
Of course
units.
you do.
I want it cold all the time like you.
Do you have a slide in your pool?
I don't. The kids just jump off things they're not supposed to. But it's my electric bill now is down to about $900 a month, which is insane. That's fantastic.
But
Excuse me, a year.
your bill is down.
Hold on, I almost gave myself a heart attack. No, $900 a year, which is vastly different from what it was before I had.
So that's right. So I said about $150 a month for me. I went from $950 to $150.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm a little bit more than you. You're listening to 98.1 KHTS award-winning. We're going to come back with the future. Yeah, the future of governments right here. He's going to be a guest. I've had him on before, and I had to have him back because he's a nice guy, and I forgot what we're going to discuss. It's going to be important. I think we're going to discuss schools and school safety.
There's nothing more important.
No, this gentleman
Right on
will be in
topic,
charge
too.
of school safety. Yeah.
Yeah.
In 4 years. But that's fine. This is where we start. All right, Vivant Solar. Remember the name. If you can't remember Vivant Solar, call me. I will come out with Kathleen. We do charge, right? We're not doing this for free.
We'll work out a fee for you. Right.
Well, you'll be back. You're coming back, right?
I appreciate it. Yeah.
All right, brother. We'll see you down the road. Got to take a break. We're going to come back. He's not famous now, but by the time we get done with him, he will be very famous for all the right reasons. We'll be back on the business of life. 20 years doing the show at KHTS.
On Saturday, June 9, the Church on the Way Santa Clarita is hosting Medical Mission Adventures, a free clinic that offers medical, dental, and vision services. This event allows those without insurance to receive the best professional care at no cost. The doors open at 9 a.m. on June 9, and services are rendered first come, first serve. The Church on the Way Santa Clarita is located on Cinema Drive. For more information about this event and others coming up, visit our website at tcotwsc.org.
Marston's Restaurant has been a Pasadena landmark, voted the best breakfast in California by the Food Network magazine. Discover Marston's Santa Clarita location open for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Marston's also has a fantastic catering menu that adds a delicious twist to any event. And they cater picnic dinners for that memorable romantic date. Experience Marston's on Newhall Ranch Road and McBean, or log on to marstonsrestaurant.com.
Finding the right lawyer can be a challenge, but in Santa Clarita, there's no need to search when there's Hacker Law Group, Santa Clarita's premier litigation firm. Jeffrey Hacker has represented celebrities, financial institutions, accident victims, real estate developers, realtors, contractors, businesses, nonprofit organizations, and other individuals and companies with their legal challenges. Mr. Hacker is one of Santa Clarita's leaders, consistently listed as one of our most influential. When everything is on the line and you need legal counseling, visit hackerlawgroup.com.
If you are at least 55 years of age and have a torn or irreparable rotator cuff, you may be eligible for a no-cost clinical trial at Southern California's Orthopedic Institute's Valencia Clinic. Call 818-901-6600 extension 1525 or visit rotatorcuffstudy.com to learn about a study of an investigational shoulder implant. Call 818-901-6600 extension 1525 or visit rotatorcuffstudy.com. Sponsored by Microair Surgical Instruments.
The best live theater can be found right here in the Santa Clarita Valley. The Canyon Theater Guild has been entertaining audiences for decades with top quality musicals and plays. Located on Main Street in Old Town Newhall, CTG also offers workshops for the young actor in your family. For more information, call the box office at 799-2702 or go online to canyontheater.org.
Santa Clarita's hometown station.
Now FM 98.1 FM and AM 1220. Your hometown station.
Remember the name Kathleen Bruno if you're looking for, if you want to sell your house fast with not, you don't want buyers coming in and going, well, we need to knock it down. No.
No, I have one job, or I have 2 jobs. Get you the most money, not leave any money on the table, and protect you from a
You don't
legal
leave any
standpoint.
money on the table.
No, I don't.
I want to do a whole hour with you because I'm so curious. There's what? How many real estate agents in Santa Clarita? 30,000 agents?
Feels like 30,000. Last
There's
week I heard
what,
2,400. I'm guessing it's probably more around 1,800.
Yeah, so I want to figure out what your magic sauce is. But before we do that, I want you to remember this name, Eric Early. Eric Early. When you go to the vote, I've met this gentleman now several times. I've talked to him. He's got a very successful background. The reason I'm going to vote for him is he went to NYU, where my mother went. Right, Eric?
That's correct.
He went to NYU. That's a prestigious college.
It was a great school, and I'm sorry I didn't get to know your mom when I was there, but
Yeah.
It was a great school, yeah.
Yeah, that's the only reason I'm voting for you is because you went to.
Hopefully
NYU.
that's not the only reason.
Well,
you
I'm going to
me,
vote
Coach.
for him because he's going to change things in the schools. And
We're
I
going to
still
talk
have
about
kids
that in a
school.
minute. He's a very successful attorney in Sherman Oaks. Works for. Well, you're one of the partners, aren't you?
Well, yeah, our main office is in Los Angeles, in just off of Wilshire Boulevard in Mid-Wilshire, and I own a firm of 25 lawyers. It's
Isn't
called
that
Early,
nice?
Early Sullivan, Wright, Geiser, and McRae. We started it with four other guys and myself about 8 years ago, and we're up to 25 lawyers.
Wow.
I'm the managing partner. I run the
Congratulations.
business, and
Yeah.
we practice all over California, Nevada, Arizona,
Do your
Utah, and
partners think
Florida.
you're crazy? Do they think you're mentally unstable because you're running for public office? This is not a city council. This is a
This is
state.
a big boy.
Yeah, this is the California State Attorney General's office.
You know, my partners know me, and they know me well, and they totally support me. And these are folks that are, on both sides of the political spectrum.
Really?
Yeah, and they support me. We can win this race. I'm the only one who has a fresh new message in this race. I'm the only one who could possibly change the mess that's going on up there. I've got 3 other competitors in this race. They're all professional politicians. They've been doing this their whole life. And we have a mess in Sacramento. Sacramento's in deep and serious trouble. That's why I jumped in. I've gotten incredible endorsements. I've only been a candidate or a politician, I guess I can be called that now.
Do you really want to be called a politician?
Not really, but I've been doing it since October. And, I've been endorsed now by Steve Cooley, the former district attorney of Los Angeles County, who almost beat Kamala Harris when he ran against
That's
her.
a big endorsement.
Oh, yeah. Steve is an amazing guy. He's working very closely with me on this campaign. It's just a pity that he didn't win when he ran. He lost by, I believe, less than a percentage point. He would have changed
Now, when
history.
you become a state attorney general, what's in it for Kathleen and I? Can we free lunch somewhere along the way? What's in it for us? What can you get us? Is there
Listen,
I'm with you, Coach.
any
Let's
give?
hear- I can't
Is
wait
there
to hear
any
this.
giveaway?
Yeah,
Let me tell you what's in it for you. You're going to have a much safer and better state to be living in than we're
I like
presently
that.
living in. That's what's in it for you and all Californians. Sheriff Sandra Hutchins of Orange County, she endorsed me when this character Becerra, who's got the job now, came out and threatened her. I came out and stood up for her. She came out and endorsed me. I've been endorsed by up and down the state. Sheriff John Lope from Siskiyou County. Sheriff Lope's like meeting John Wayne in person, and Stacy Montgomery, the district attorney of Lassen County, and the Senate Republican leader of our state, Pat
The Orange
Bates,
County
and
sheriff's-
the John and Ken show. I've gotten incredible endorsements. I'm
I'm endorsing you.
Okay,
well,
well, let me
thank you,
ask you
Coach.
this.
Thank you.
But
Let me ask you this.
the sheriff from Orange County, that's a big endorsement. The
Huge.
one in Siskiyou is 5 people. That doesn't count.
Well, Siskiyou is, I'll tell you, it's a great place, and there's some incredible
It's beautiful
people up there.
county.
It was
Beautiful.
It was one of my favorite stops on this campaign tour. Just great people up there. But Sandra Hutchins in Orange County, she's a brave, bold, strong leader. This is what we need more of in this state, instead of this character, Mr. Becerra, who came out and actually threatened her when she was just doing her job. Outrageous move by him. So I'm very proud and honored to have Sheriff Hutchins.
Let me be your campaign manager, because you don't need to knock people. You just need to be the nice, strong, smart person that you are. Is that how you sell real estate? You don't knock your
Never. I want to earn the business outright based on my accomplishments. I have been asked to say bad things about people I've gone up against.
Yeah.
And I certainly know things that I could say, and I will flat out refuse to say anything negative. I want to be chosen on my merits, what the value that I'm showing you that I can bring. And I actually have a question for you.
Please
so
ask.
Say you're out in the audience and you don't know the names of the people that you're saying right now. But what you do know is you have a kid in high school, you have a kid in junior high school. I heard the saddest statement the other day. My son just told me that every time the fire alarm goes off, Now they're all terrified.
Yeah.
So if I'm a parent, I'm going to go to the polls. I don't know everything about everything, but what I need is my kids, or my children, I shouldn't call them kids, my children to feel safe at school. So can you speak to that?
Sure, Kathleen. You know, this is one of the things I've been talking about quite frequently on this campaign. Not only is public safety job number one for the Attorney General, will be for me, but what we're now dealing with our schools is just really the most unfortunate thing I can think of. You know, I've got two kids, a 31-year-old son, a 26-year-old daughter, and when I used to drop them off at school, because I used to drop them off at school, I never had a concern about their safety in school.
You were confident that they were safe in school.
You didn't even think about it.
No, you didn't.
And they didn't think about it.
Mm-mm.
And now we're living in a time when parents are concerned every time they let their kids go to school, and these kids are sitting in class, like you just said about your son, and they're concerned. So there's several things I want to do. You know, and it starts, it doesn't necessarily start with, but I want to secure the schools themselves. We have to start talking about having a law enforcement presence at these schools, and we have to talk about getting money for law enforcement. Some of the best, bravest, and most dedicated people I meet on this campaign are the people of law enforcement. Incredible people doing whatever they can to protect us. And we need to get them more money. We need to get them more money from our federal or our state government, and maybe the federal government too, to start doing what it takes to get them the resources to properly secure the schools. We have to do a deep dive and study into these schools and see how we can make the schools safer themselves, how many doors you have open, whether you may need metal detectors to go into a school. And another thing that I'm really the only one in this race talking about is this issue of severe mental illness. There can be no doubt that the kid that opened fire in Connecticut, the kid that opened fire in Florida, the kid that just opened fire in Texas, this maniac that opened fire in Nevada, they're all severely mentally ill. And we live in a society right now where families know, all these families knew they had a time bomb on their hand, and they don't know what to do with them. The best you can do right now, if you're lucky, is you get what's called a 5150, which is a 72-hour hold, where they can be held up to 72 hours. Then they're let out again. And these kids, in many instances, severely mentally ill, are walking around dosed on all kinds of pharmaceutical drugs. And we have to do a deep dive into what we do with our severely mentally ill. And what I would do is I would gather together an advisory council, the best and the brightest in the mental health field, the law enforcement field, the other fields that touch on this, scour the globe for how we deal the best way with severely mentally ill. And I'm not a psychiatrist or anything, but one thing I want to seriously look into again, and it sounds harsh when you first start talking about it, but it's not harsh, is we have to have facilities again, mental health facilities, where you can involuntarily commit people who are diagnosed as severely mentally ill. I'm not talking about run-of-the-mill household mental illness, severely mentally ill, where they can be committed and taken care of by mental health care professionals and not let out for however long these professionals believe they need to be in there. We need a place to put them, and the kids in the schools, like your son and my kids did back in the day when they were in school, and other kids, they know who these kids are. They see the outliers walking around, the ones that are completely off their rocker. And we got to start listening to the kids, but we seriously need to tackle the severe mental illness problem. It's not only humane from a standpoint of protecting us, our children, and everybody we know, but it's also humane because these people have to be protected from themselves. I mean, this kid that just opened fire, apparently he was about to kill himself before he went off and shot all these people. These people have to be put in a place. They have to be found, they have to be diagnosed, and they have to be committed to facilities. We can't have them walking around our schools dosed on pharmaceuticals and a threat to everybody. So it's a big, big issue for me, and I'm just scratching the surface right now. But, as I tell people on the campaign trail, you have to start with an attorney general who actually cares about this stuff, and I care deeply about this stuff, and You
Well,
know, I'm telling you that my
chief.
3 opponents don't.
Well, your 3 opponents have all been invited to come on the show today, and you're the only one that showed up because I wanted to talk about this. Everybody gets an equal right to come on the business of life 20 years here on 98.1 FM, 1220 AM. You can listen on hometownstation.com. It's an award-winning radio station, KHTS. We give everybody running for political office an opportunity to voice their opinion, and Eric Early is the only one that showed up today. He's running for the highest office. He will be our chief law enforcement officer. His name is Eric Early. So let me address a couple things. Kathleen, jump in. I don't have any kids in high school anymore. I think a couple things that you said are very important. One is we need to do a deep dive. The conversation has to stop. We have to start to take some action. But, you know, truthfully, my wife and I talk about it every day. Nobody seems to know what to do, but I like what you said. If there is people in the school, the kids know, don't they? I think
know.
what you just said.
The kids know.
The kids know. The question is, how do we get them to, and the kids would say, you should ask your kids tonight. They would say, well, I'm not going to rat out the next guy or the next girl or whatever. It's a challenge.
The parents know too, and the officials running the schools know. You know, when you have somebody who's been with you in the school, many cases for several years. Listen, I'm not talking about kids that are just different. Listen, I applaud differences among people, but when you have somebody that you know is just way off the deep end, you know it when you see it. You go to school every day with these kids. The teachers know when they see it. People have to start speaking up. But it's more than just that. There's got to be something they can do with these kids. And right now, there just isn't.
Well, and I agree with you on several points. What I do agree with you is what is in place is not working. So you, like you said, you have a different platform. You come from a different place. The 3 other people running against you are lifelong politicians, and it's not working right now.
Well, the schools are wide open. We got a lot of challenges. His name is Eric Early, ladies and gentlemen. Eric Early. His opponents have all been invited to come on. The bottom line is we've got to start doing something. If you hire me as your campaign manager, I can start this afternoon at about 2:30.
Coach, you would be amazing.
But this should be your campaign platform. I'm being very serious now. I'm expensive. I'm probably going to be a couple of $1,000s an hour, but I'll be worth it. I'll bring Kathleen along with me. I'll put her on the
Bill's
staff.
Just going up.
I'm pretty sure he's going to make me be an intern, but we'll discuss it.
No, but seriously, if this was your number one platform, you would win in a heartbeat, in a landslide.
Well, public safety.
Because I can tell you care from your heart.
I do, and public safety is my number one platform. And this situation with the schools has got to be addressed. There's been too many politicians paying too much lip service for too long with nothing being done.
And one of my friends had an idea. I know you guys aren't going to like it. My wife was, when I said it to her this morning, she said, "Are you going to say this on the air?" I said, "No, I'd never say something like this." You know what upset her when I said it?
What?
I said, well, if we did away with schools, then we wouldn't have a problem. She didn't like that.
Yeah, that's not a position I can take.
No,
yeah,
you can't.
And that's not a viable
That's not going to work,
answer.
is it?
No, that's not going to work.
No, but what will work is getting Eric Early, who I can feel in his heart. I'm watching his face. He believes that he can make a change.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, we need a common sense Republican back in Sacramento. You know, years and years of one-party rule have led to a mess in this state. Crime is on the rise.
Amen, brother.
You know,
it is one-party rule, and that's where people need to wake up. I'm going to get on my bandwagon for a second. We do not have equal presentation of ideas,
representation,
or representation in this state, and it's out of hand.
Yeah, at a minimum, I think people across the political spectrum would agree with the fact that one-party rule for too long is just never any good. And that's what we've had in Sacramento, and that's why they've gotten arrogant up there with the laws they pass, and in fact the way they act to the people working for them. They're just arrogant. They're out of control, and we need a common sense Republican again in Sacramento to start keeping check on these abuses of power that are going on up there. We need two voices up there. You know, I feel strongly about this stuff, Coach. You know it. And we're running a great race. You heard about the endorsements. I'm going up and down this state. There haven't been any polls taken. Anything is possible in this race. I'm the only outsider, but there's only 4 of us. I have to be one of the top 2 standing. June 5th is Election Day. People have the absentee ballots now. A lot of people are voting by mail right now.
Eric Early.
Eric Early.
And I think you have a good shot because I don't know too many people that are happy with the way things are currently, especially with the topic at hand.
Yeah.
Yeah. You should get your realtors on Eric's bandwagon.
Maybe I should.
Yeah, we should we need a slogan. Here's another, Andrew. We need slogan
well, I've
music.
got some slogans for you.
Well, give me something.
Well,
how about a chicken in every pot? You don't like that?
Chicken in every pot's terrific. Listen, I would say vote early, vote often. But
I like that. Vote early, Eric Early, vote early. That's a good one. Do you have that on your sign?
No, because that's actually sort of a derogatory slogan from the old Chicago days where these Chicago politicians who are controlling everything would, have all the dead coming and suddenly the dead would be voting.
Sorry.
So but I do say it, but there's another one I use, which is it's not too late for California. Vote early for Attorney General.
How about get on board?
Well, listen,
early?
here's some music for Eric Early. Get on the early train. That's what
get on the early train.
Get on the early train.
Get on the early train. Hop on the early train.
For
train is leaving the station.
California. Let me do the logos, okay? You're going to be the chief cop. You got to stay serious.
Exactly.
I don't have to be unless you put me on your staff at 2:15 this afternoon. But you stay serious. You're the serious one. He's running for California State Attorney General, and I say the new slogan is "Get on early."
Get on early.
The train's leaving. It's early. Just remember early, right? It's early in the morning. It's early. Wake up early. Wake up!
Gets the vote? I don't know.
What's yours? What's yours?
The early bird gets the vote?
No, wake up early. How's that one for? That's a good slogan.
Well, it sounds like he's asleep.
I love it.
No.
It's beautiful, Coach.
But he cares. The main thing is the man is a decent man, and we need. Look, here's the thing. I don't know the man from Adam except I like him, but I would say this: having somebody that's on the conservative ticket. Along with a governor that's going to be left of left, well, makes sense.
This is a huge
problem.
problem.
Checks and balances.
Listen,
checks and balance. Thank you.
If this, and I'm sorry, I'm going to say it. If this disaster Gavin Newsom wins, and he's in the lead right now, but I quite frankly don't believe polls. But if he wins and he becomes the governor, we have to have a Republican in the Attorney General's office to keep him in check, because the things that he's threatening to do would take what's bad now and make it much worse. Our best days are ahead of us, Coach. I firmly believe that. I want us to be the shining city on the hill again, the greatest state, the greatest country that anybody ever created. But we have to start getting some common sense back to Sacramento. That's why I'm running.
All right. Thank you for coming in. I will pray for you. Eric Early for California State Attorney General is a very, very important post in this state. It's a very, very important political election, June 5th. So I don't care who you vote for, but vote. That's how representative government makes this the greatest country, the greatest civilized country in the history of the world. Just get out and vote early.
EricEarly.com.
Vote early.
And vote early. There you go. On June 5th. We'll be right back. We're going to talk. Daryl's in the hallway. He's been knocking on the window, Kathleen. Daryl's in the hallway. We'll be talking about what Daryl has to say, which might irritate some of you. We'll be right back.
The issue of immigration reform is more than politics for Congressman Steve Knight. It is personal. Steve Knight doesn't see immigration as a simple issue without impact on families. He sees the faces of hardworking people yearning for a better life. He hears the DACA kids who have grown up in here. Yes, immigration reform is personal for Steve Knight. I know, because Congressman Knight is my husband. I am Lily Knight, and I am an immigrant from Chile, where I was born and raised. Now I work as a NICU nurse in a local hospital. While presidents of both parties have failed to find a solution, Steve isn't giving up. Steve Knight is working with Republicans and Democrats to fix our immigration system. He co-sponsored a bipartisan bill which would protect DACA recipients and provide the opportunity for a legal path. I am proud of my husband for standing up for DACA kids and fighting for an immigration bill.
I'm Steve Knight, and I approve this message because protecting young immigrants is the right thing to do.
You got some aches and pains, you weekend warrior, chronic inflammation or chronic pain? Well, guess what? I've got a solution for you. It's called Men Cryotherapy, right here in Santa Clarita. Men Cryotherapy is what the major leaguers are using to mend their aches and pains. They're in the LA Fitness Shopping Center on Newhall Ranch Road. They could be a wonderful blessing for you to relieve you of your joint pain and regain your mobility. Remember the name, Men Cryotherapy, or check them out at mencryotherapy.com. That's MEND cryotherapy.com.
When you're looking for a midnight snack, sometimes fast food just doesn't cut it. California Bakery and Cafe is open 24/7, so you'll be able to find fresh donuts, danishes, bagels, all-natural fruit juices, gourmet sandwiches, and much more at any hour. With elaborate cakes for any occasion, including weddings, baptisms, anniversaries, corporate events, or any special event. California Bakery and Cafe in Santa Clarita is open 24 hours to satisfy any craving anytime. Call us, 255-1254. That's 255-1254.
You got some aches and pains, you weekend warrior, chronic inflammation or chronic pain? Well, guess what? I've got a solution for you. It's called Men Cryotherapy, right here in Santa Clarita. Men Cryotherapy is what the major leaguers are using to mend their aches and pains. They're in the LA Fitness Shopping Center on Newhall Ranch Road. They could be a wonderful blessing for you to relieve you of your joint pain and regain your mobility. Remember the name, Men Cryotherapy, or check them out at mencryotherapy.com. That's MEND cryotherapy.com.
Santa Clarita's hometown station.
Now FM, 98.1 FM and AM 1220, your hometown station.
Back to the business life here with my co-hostess every week, Kathleen Bruno, the #1 real estate agent in all of Southern California. She will get the best price ever for your home. I think your greatest strength is negotiation. You don't let anybody get away with anything.
I certainly don't.
Including the homeowner. I mean, you'll tell the homeowner if they're off base as to what they're asking for, but if it's in the ballpark, you're going to get them.
Well, I never lose sight of the fact that I work for them, but I always ask how honest I can be with them, and hopefully I'm granted full honesty.
No, you are. So Daryl's knocking. Do you hear Daryl knocking?
Yeah, I see
on
him go by the window every couple minutes.
Yeah, so I asked him in the hallway because he's so shy. He won't come on he'll never come on the microphone.
Yeah, but do you notice how close he gets to these windows?
Yeah,
when
you
we're
can
on the
see
air?
his breath.
I know.
So I just asked him. I said, "Who's the most?" Because you're in the radio station all the time. Who's the most interesting person you've ever met or interviewed or heard interviewed? You know what he said?
No.
A gamer, some gamer.
Oh.
Some 18-year-old kid. I said, "That's it?" And he said, "Yeah, that's it." I said, "Do you remember the name?" He said, "No, I don't remember the name." I said, "How could that be the most so let me ask you, what's the most interesting person you've ever met?
Wow. The most interesting person I've ever. That's a fantastic question. I probably have a top 10.
While you're thinking about that, if you had one dinner left, who would you want to invite to dinner?
My mom.
Oh, wow. That's
My mom
nice.
is eternally interesting, eternally optimistic.
Is your mommy listening to the show?
I doubt it, but
Why?
I always said if I had to
This hurts my feelings.
I know. It kind of hurts mine.
Where's mommy located?
She's in Riverside County.
Oh,
So
well, she can get us on hometownstation.com.
That's true.
Hometown.
I'm going to put her on it
What's her
next week.
name?
Eileen Galloway.
Let's get her on the phone. Can we call her right now? Do you have her number? Write the number.
She would kill me if we surprise her.
Let's surprise her. Let's write.
Oh my goodness!
I'll
have to turn my phone on.
Hold
on.
Give Andrew the number. We got it. Eileen, right?
Yeah, she has a lovely Scottish accent.
Yeah, let's get her on the phone.
Oh, she's going to kill me. You're going to have to bridge that, Coach.
Well, so while we're getting her on the phone, getting Eileen on, I love Riverside. I love downtown Riverside. So I've done over 15,000 interviews. I was on the air for 3 hours a day for so many years up in Ventura County. And I interviewed everybody but the president and the vice president of the United States, big-time senators.
Wow.
Big-time political people, big-time commentators, Tom Brokaw, Dan Rather. Dan Rather was a frequent guest on the show.
That's incredible.
So I'm asked all the time who was one of the most interesting person was, I know you're not going to find this interesting, but his name was Denny McClain. He was a pitcher for the Detroit Tigers. Served prison time for a lot of different stuff. Came out of prison, opened up a business. He was interesting. Probably the most interesting. I was Bart Starr. Does that name ring a bell?
No, it doesn't.
Really doesn't ring a bell?
No.
He was a quarterback for the Green Bay Packers. So I have to get off sports with you.
You're going to get me in trouble because I'm
so
always with sports enthusiasts. I mean,
okay, Mickey Rooney.
Mickey Rooney, okay.
Okay, I had him on several times.
Wow, that's huge,
He
too.
was very interesting. He would tell me stories off the air that he couldn't tell on the air. You know, one of the most interesting people that I had that nobody really knew, is Eileen on? Do we have Eileen on?
Hello.
Eileen, this is KHTS Radio in Santa Clarita, California. You are the guest today. We're dedicating the show to you. Your daughter.
Hi, Mom.
Your daughter's right here. You're live on air, girl.
Hi, Mom. Don't be mad at me. They talked me into calling you.
Hi, Eileen.
Uh-oh.
How are
Hi.
you?
They asked me the question,
fine.
who do I think is the most interesting person I've ever met?
That
And-
was not the question. The question
Oh.
was if you had one dinner
Oh,
left.
if I had one dinner left, who would I have it with? And there was not even a split second that I thought about it. It would be you.
Not even a split second?
Not even
That's
a split
pretty
second.
Good.
Eileen, that is an unbelievable compliment for a daughter to
Yes,
say
it is.
that. Yeah. So what are you doing
I'm
today? Are you in the
impressed.
kitchen? Where are you?
I'm shopping. I just got done shopping, and I'm bought flowers, and I'm trying them all over the place.
Oh,
see
listen to
what
that
goes
little
best.
voice of yours. I love it.
Oh, she's fabulous.
Why don't you come? Can you come to Santa? Do you know where Santa Clarita is? Can you come and be with us on the air next week?
No, but thank you anyway.
Yeah. So
No, I can't. It's too far.
all right, my
The
dear.
It's a long
Even if
journey,
we
but I
send,
appreciate the offer.
But let's ask her the same question.
Yeah.
Mom, if you had one dinner left, and you can't say me because that would be silly. If you had one dinner left and you could spend it with anybody in history, alive, not alive, past, present, anything you can think of, who would you like to? Oh, I already know what she's going to say. Who would you like
Jesus.
to spend it with? Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah, Jesus. I knew. I thought of the answer before it even came out of her mouth. Jesus, of course.
Yeah, Jesus Christ.
yeah, I can't argue that. That would be in everybody's, not everybody, but that would be in a lot of people's top 5, I think.
Yeah, I think I need a
I
top
think so.
5 or 10 because narrowing it down to one is just very difficult. But, Mom, I just want to say I absolutely love you. Thank you for being a good sport and staying on the phone. I knew that I told them they're going to have to.
And Eileen,
protect
nice job raising your daughter. I mean, you have to be the proudest mommy on the face of the earth today.
I am.
Yeah.
I'm really proud of her.
Well,
Yeah.
thank you for
And-
taking the call. Where are you at Home Depot or Albertsons? Where are you?
No, I just got home. I just came home with flowers, and I'm trying to find out the best place to put them.
The Irish accent. If I had
Scottish.
that accent, I'd be a billionaire.
Scottish.
Huh?
She's lovely.
Oh,
Anytime
it's Scottish?
It's Scottish, and anytime
Scottish,
I'd want to
but it's close
like
enough.
Sorry.
take something back or have any kind of
That's
conflict,
okay.
I just send in my mom because the Scottish accent. Just
You like
slays-
the Irish, though.
slays
You
everything.
like the Irish, don't you, Eileen?
Well, yeah, of course I do. My grandmother was Irish from County Cork.
There you go.
So
Look at my name.
I have a little bit of everything: Norwegian, Scottish, Irish. Yeah, a little bit of everything.
All right. One of these days you'll come in the studio. God bless you. Sorry to interrupt your
Thank
shopping.
you.
Have a wonderful evening.
No, you didn't. Oh,
All right.
you're very welcome.
All right.
Thank you. You too.
Bye, Mom.
Bye-bye.
Okay, bye.
What a cute voice. My God.
And she's just that
I
adorable.
just love your mother.
She's just that adorable.
Yeah. Oh, my God. So next week we have a big show, the Kathleen Bruno Show, coming up. We're going to talk about success. What makes a winner? Why do you think you do better than everybody else? There has to be something you have to share with us, right?
Okay.
You have to pull back the curtain. There's got to be magic sauce, right?
There is magic.
Shane wants to know. Shane wants to know. We'll see you next week. Business of Life, Tuesday, 1 o'clock.
When I wrote in on a song.